Welcome back to class. So I'm sure you remember why it is important to do exclusive breastfeeding. Yes. So today we are moving to another subject area, food faddism. Food faddism. That has also begun to be a problem in our country and then in the South region. Food faddism and eating disorders. We've talked about, when we're talking about the overweight, we mentioned some of the eating disorders, and we shall reiterate a few once more here. Yeah, so at the end of this lecture or session, you should be able to promote a sound factual understanding of foods and their use, explain what food faddism is and a fad diet, describe basic characteristics of fad diets, differentiate facts about food from fads, and you should be able to describe at least 2 eating disorders. And we described some already when we're talking about the energy balance. So it's the same thing. You should be able to apply from one lecture and add on to the other. So what is a fad? It is an unusual pattern of food behavior enthusiastically adapted by those who practice it, sometimes referred to as cultism. Yes, eating a particular food and the way they eat it, they think that food has all the benefits, it can cure any disease that you think of. That is what a fad is. Yes. So when we talk of dietary fad, they have been known over past years, even before Christ, it existed. And there are different ways that people look at it. Athletes have practiced it, other war warriors and so forth. And today, people are also practicing it in different forms. And some have it as part of their religious beliefs and so forth. But from science, right now, we know that most of these fads are not true and are rather creating challenges for us. So people who follow these practices precisely and with passion are said to be food faddists. That's how we refer to them. And they can tell you everything about it to make you change your mind. What are some of the characteristics of food fads? Yes, they have some special virtues of a particular food, and they exaggerate and claim it to cure some diseases. Can you think of some examples? There are certain foods or foods combinations that have special health benefits. That is another claim. Others also make some emphasis on some natural organic foods, and they think that is a bullet that when you take it, you never fall sick again. Yeah, so these are some of the challenges that we are seeing now, and they promote them a lot. Some on our mass media, and others also take it from house to house, door to door, to promote them. And people believe them, enriched with vitamins and so forth. But sometimes they can be very harmful, over exaggeration. Yes, the belief systems are so strong, and this can be very, very fatal. So we need to understand that and distinguish fad from sound claims. Sound claims. For example, in the book Let's Get Well, it is stated that nutrition can prevent and cure diseases such as water blisters, cramps, appreciation, asthma, aging, etc. Yes, nutrition does play a role, but that is not it's not the ultimate. So we need to understand some of these things from what we have done so far, understanding the nutrients, understanding their role. You should be able to distinguish between fad from a sound and help somebody else note what it is. Yes, what can fad diets do? They typically promise to prevent or cure many diseases. Example, cancer. They cleanse the body, stimulate fast and effective weight loss. Yes, for example, 1, 2, 3, then the weight will be lost. Within 3 days, you lose all the fat. I mean, from what we've learned, you should be able to know that this is not true, and to be able to discourage somebody from indulging in such diet claims and spending huge amount of money to buy that, and others too that will enhance sports performance. These are usually targeted at people who want to lose weight. and it is going on all over the world, and it is now in our country. So let us be mindful and let people know that with diet, understanding the food groups, will be able to help people lose their weight. Yes, normally such fat diets, they tend to be popular because those who are behind it, they really promote it. They really promote it. So that is one characteristic about them. And the foods are often labeled as good or bad, which may lead to elimination of important food groups or usual nutrients from the diet. So we have to be aware of that. A typical example is the lemonade diet. And I know even in Ghana there are some people who have tried that, detoxifying their system and thinking that within some few days they will lose all the fats. So let us be mindful of that. Then we also have the high protein diet. And if you recall, when we were talking, I said earlier on when we started the micronutrients, I mentioned that we eat first and foremost to satisfy energy needs, and the brain preferentially would want to use carbohydrates for energy, because using other nutrients, especially fats, the end product of their metabolites, can be toxic to the brain. So high protein diet might not be helpful to the brain. And secondly, we're also going to overload the kidney to get rid of the nitrogenous compounds. Other fat diets include cabbage soup diet, banana diet, so many of them. You can check on the net and you see a number of them, So they are deficient of a lot of nutrients. And now you know the nutrients. So you can make the judgment and advise people who are trying to live on such diets. And there are so many problems associated with long-term weight control if one is using such fat diets for weight management. Non-communicable diseases are associated with them, and we need to be very careful. When we have these conditions, yes, of course, our work performance will go down. We cannot work as we should be, and it can even affect our progress in our job. Some of us, when some of these diets will also affect our fluid and electrolyte balance, because they don't contain all the micronutrients that are supposed to be there, and the micronutrients do play an important role in our fluid and electrolyte balance. So we need to be aware of this. It can also even affect our oral health, so we need to take note of this. And what I have read, that you know that saliva plays an important role in preventing dental decay, dental caries, cleansing the teeth, and reducing the effects of acids in the mouth, which cause tooth decay. So if you are talking about fat that will affect salivation, then know that there's something wrong somewhere. So sometimes questions that we need to ask ourselves when we hear about fats, to distinguish them fats from fat, we need to ask, for example, does the diet promise fast weight loss or easy cure of a disease? Once it is, as I said, promote something very fast, 1, 2, 3 to cure something, and that should ring a bell that this is not what to go for. It is a lie, it is a fad. And if it helps sell a company's products very fast, and then sometimes gather people to convince them to go out, then you should know that this is not a fact, but it is a fad. It is very, very important that we take note of these things. So eating disorders, we've talked about a lot of them already, and when we mentioned the energy balance, once again, I'm just reiterating anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. It is now becoming a problem because in our part of the world, this used to be part of the Western world, but now, as I said, due to globalization, yes, we are copying everything, and we are not copying right. We are not copying right. So it is very, very important when we see somebody trying to be extra thin, seeing him or herself not looking good in the mirror, then we should have a wake-up call and help the person. Yes, what are the effects? Too much weight loss, irregular menstrual cycle, and when the irregular menstrual cycle, note that person, the woman, and most it is women who do these things when it comes to the the diet issues and weight. Irregular menstrual cycle, meaning that the woman is heading towards having challenges with childbirth in the future. And if one continues to lose weight, then one may finally even stop menstruating. And then we will attribute it to, as usual, our superstition. It is an auntie or a cousin or a sister sitting somewhere who is performing some witchcraft on the individual, but it is our own behavior. Yes. And then there is also bone loss, because the person is not eating very well. Of course, you cannot get the minerals to go into the bone to form bone properly. So the person may also have problems with the bones and so forth. So it is important that we try to defeat. These are some pictures. Who would want his or her sister or a relation to look like this? They see themselves, even these pictures that you are seeing, they still feel they are too fat. You know, so this should tell you that it's a disorder. And then with bulimia, to some of the behavioral signs, we see overeating, eating in secret, and then the person will visit the bathroom after the meal to vomit. And others may also use diet pills. This is not right. This is somebody after eating will go and force to let the food come out, you know. So these are some of the signs we should be watching out with our relations and then others that we know, because they think they are too fat for their liking, but it is a disease. So Faddism is dangerous to our health, and we should, well, now we know what we should look out for, so we should help the general public to save Mother Ghana. We shouldn't try to be a food faddist. It is not healthy. Always be careful what we choose, and also endeavor to apply the knowledge that we have to help others to eat healthily, to overcome extremes of eating habits. It is very, very important, so that we remain healthy weight and in a healthy body. We can now talk about weight balance and link it to energy balance and link it to Faddism and then the eating disorders. So for our take home, we should be able to list 2 characteristics of a fat diet and what are the implications of eating disorders. Once we understand the implications very well, I told you this is an application science, we'll be able to help people to solve most of their nutritional disorders. So for next week, we shall discuss food habits and make sure you do your readings.